is the Southeast Rail RTD lot where Smith Environmental recently trapped and poisoned this prairie dog colony of 80 strong. And what we have here on the video is a mound that they applied Fumitoxin to and then drove over, as you can see here. They simply drove right over the mound. And this is not an isolated incident. Coming up here, here's another mound treated with Fumitoxin, which they simply then drove over. And I'm filming this here today. Train station circle. This is the Hamden Inn. And this here is the street. Kind of give you an idea of the lot. Smith Environmental, who did this, perpetrated this crime, in my opinion, also call themselves relocators and have a contract evidently with RTD. They would all like to portray themselves as environmentally responsible, ethically correct, and concerned with these sentient beings, Keystone Species, black-tailed prairie dogs of Colorado, when in fact they're barbaric. RTD hired Smith Environmental to secure a release site under the views that they were going to relocate these prairie dogs starting last year. January, a parcel of land was submitted to CPW. That land was within an HOA, a horse community, and bordered upon conservation easement designated for wetlands. We all know prairie and wetlands go hand in hand. Now, this is another one that they did, but here they didn't even bother to apply the poison. They just drove right over the mound. You can see the tire track. It's incredible. No responsible relocator, ethically correct relocator would ever do something like this. Smith Environmental, the parcel of land that they pretended to submit as a legitimate option in terms of a release site, knew full and well that it would be denied, and so it was. And then neither Smith Environmental nor RTD bothered to let any of the prairie dog advocates on the Prairie Dog Task Force know about the denial until end of June, allowing no time for alternative solutions to be found by people who actually care about Colorado wildlife. What they then did is they came out here and they placed traps. They didn't set them properly. They didn't secure them to the ground. Animals were tossed and turned. Traps were tossed and turned. It was just a real shit show. And during the pre-bait period, then they baited the traps and left the animals hour or more in the traps, all documented, to include not just prairie dogs but also birds and such, while they sat over here in the corner here by the Hampton Inn in their air-conditioned pickup truck. They then came out here and scooped up the traps with the prairie dogs in them, tossing side to side, poor little guys. Didn't bother to cover them, which any respectable relocator would immediately do. First and foremost, they would immediately get that animal out of the trap the minute it's in. I mean, this thing, that happens within minutes, and move them into a carrier with burrowing material so that they can burrow, cover them so that they're cool and dark, put them in a cool environment regardless of, you know, it's just unbelievable. They grabbed the traps with the animals in them that had been sitting in the sun, blazing sun, 95 upward to 100 degree temperatures, and just tossed them into the back of the pickup truck. Very careless, very barbaric, again, I keep using this word, but absolutely no compassion, none at all. And this is why Smith Environmental should not be categorized as a prairie dog relocator, because everything and anything that I have seen them do and other people is barbaric again, and disgusting. So the RTD prairie dog plans, fast track plan, stipulates they will not move earth as long as there are live animals, and because of their uncaring way of doing business, and anyway, just because they are pathetic and incompetent and inept, Smith Environmental. There are survivors out here, and guessing half a dozen, maybe even more. At any rate, just wanted to come back here. My previous video, for some reason, didn't upload properly, and just sort of bring attention to the way they just, the Fumitoxin, which they've done, and the Fumitoxin and the careless nature and the uncompassionate nature that this organization operates under. Running over. So we have live animals. So basically what happened here is they put Fumitoxin in the burrow, then they packed newspaper in it, then they packed it with earth. So we have live animals slowly bleeding to death over a matter of days underground here, and then they just drove right over it. There you have it. Smith Environmental with the blessing of RTD.